I have two books to read to you right now. Well, I might read them separately, but one of them I read last night. Oh my gosh, I think I fell asleep. I dreamt about it. I dreamt that the tape just kept running and running and running, and you were going to have all these minutes of watching me asleep. But I don't think that happened. Nonetheless, I was holding the computer was a little bit away, so you can hardly hear my voice. So I'm going to read that again. That one was called From Seed to Pumpkin. And what with this being October and this book being due, I'll, I'll read that before I take it back. But first, the one I'm going to read to you now is this one. We started it once, but we didn't finish it. It's called Food Chains and the Food Webs in Our Backyard, Secrets of the Garden by Kathleen Widener Zollfeld and illustrated by Priscilla Lamont. Beautiful cover. Little girl with a cat, little boy with some radishes, a bird, a robin, a little mouse up in the corn, and a snail on the fence. It's going to be a little bit like our yard. I don't have snails, but oh, look at this. You know, we always like to look at the inside cover. Sometimes it's just colors and sometimes it's designs. Well, this time, I wish we didn't have this here, but it's an actual plot of their garden. There's the compost bin. There's Mom's Corner. There's Pete's Place. There's Honey's Catnip. That must be their cat. The compost bin. Alice's Spot. Oh, a nice rose. I love rose. Let's see what's under this if we can lift it up a little. Dad's Favorites is over here. Then over here, oh, a treehouse. I'm going to make you a treehouse one day. Do the best. Maisie and Daisy's Chicken Run. I guess they have two little chickens and they live in a little shelter like that, which they can move around. The Rain Barrel. We have a rain barrel. Um, this must be their house and their car. Look how much we know just before we even get to the first page. Oh, that's a nice backyard. Maybe we'll put signs in ours. So we have a lot of corners like that. Maybe we'll put signs and then they'll be like distinguished. For my mom, who could grow the best tomatoes I've ever tasted, to my mother-in-law, for whom all plants flourish. Those are the dedications. There's a little watering can with a little bird and a, a plant stake, so you know what's growing in that row. Food chains and the food web in our backyard, secrets of the garden. And it looks like we have two chickens giving us a lesson. We have chickens that color, white rock, and looks like Rhode Island red. Or, that's fine. It's spring and the days are getting longer. The sunshine warms the earth. It's time to plant the garden. Uh, Look, there's nothing planted yet. Just a little bit pathways and leaves. The chickens are enjoying it because they get to walk all over the place, which doesn't always happen if the garden is in full production. Dad gets the soil ready. Then my brother and I dig in. I plant zucchini and radish and carrot seeds. My brother plants lettuce and peas and beet seeds. We cover the seeds with soil and pat it down with our hands. Happy cat. A cat with a family that gardens is a happy cat because they're outside a lot and they have all kinds of activity. Then we watch the sky. I'm hoping to see some rain clouds, but the sky is clear and blue. We hook up the hose and a rainbow sparkles in its spray. The little boy is saying, I don't see anything, but there's the rainbow in the spray. You'll see that. A good long rain would help, Dad says. Patience. He's not looking for the rainbow. He's looking for things to grow. You have to be patient with the garden. Old leaves and vegetable scraps, along with a little poop from our coop, make good compost to add to the soil. Billions of tiny bacteria digest the vegetables, leaves, and scraps. That process releases nutrients that are good for growing plants. This is a compost lesson. They're at the compost pile, and they're absolutely right. I try to imagine what's going on under that soil. Are our seeds alive and growing? Every morning we hurry out of bed and check to see if anything has sprouted. But days go by, and still our garden looks like an empty patch of brown. But wait, it's going on underground, and then it'll come up, because like a baby being born, it takes a while inside, and then out it comes, and it grows. Then one morning my brother calls out. He's the first to see. I run over and bend down close to the ground, and I see them too. Tiny sprouts are poking up through the soil. Remember yesterday in the book we read about pumpkins? They talked about the first two leaves, and they're called seed leaves, and they're usually kind of oval like that. No matter what the shape of the leaves of the plant, they tend to look like this shape when they first come. Here are some different sprouting plants. Oh, they're going to show us what the seed leaves look like on a variety of plants. Okay, here we go. Beet, zucchini, squash. Oh, what's happened here? Hold on. Potato. That's potato. And tomato. Now the tomato has two more leaves, but you see the seed leaves? Those are kind of pointy, those ones on the outside. And then they're the only two that are going to look like that. And from then on, they're going to look like these. And these are getting their middle leaves too. They're real leaves. They call them true leaves. Okay, those are the seed leaves. And then the Maisie and Daisy say sprouts send roots down into the soil. They push their tiny stems up above the soil. Soon, two little leaves unfold on each stem. Then more leaves grow. Yep. And we were just talking about the leaves, but of course the roots are underground and they hold the plant in place and they bring up nutrients. The thing we read last night said that on pumpkin and perhaps on all plants, the roots have like little tubes in them, and the water comes up through them, water and the nutrients. Each day our sprouts go a little bigger. Soon they are big enough to be called seedlings. They're really coming along now. Look at all that little green plants of all different types all over the garden. Early in spring, Mom planted tomato and green pepper seeds in small pots. She kept them warm indoors by a sunny window. Now her seedlings are ready to go in the garden. She puts potatoes the size of marbles in the ground too. They will sprout more quickly than potato seeds. And that's very true. There are her tomato seedlings, because they can't go out until it's quite warm. So we get a head start in the late winter and early spring inside of a sunny window. And she's planting the potato. She plants little small seed potatoes, but we take potatoes, organic potatoes that have sprouts, and we cut them. And if you put a cut piece with two sprouts, you get potatoes. Plants store the food in their roots, leaves, stems, seeds, and fruits. These are the nutritious parts we eat, and when we eat them, they pass their energy along to us. Sunlight gives plants energy. Plants use energy from the sun to make food out of air, water, and nutrients from the soil. That's called photosynthesis. Do you want me to say that again? Because you'll hear that a lot. Sunlight gives plants energy. Plants use energy from the sun to make food out of air, water, and nutrients from the soil. That's photosynthesis. And they store the food in the roots, leaves, stems, seeds, and fruits. These are the nutritious parts we eat. And when we eat them, they pass their energy along to us. And then they have a chart where they have us name some, but without looking at it. Let's see if we could cover it up. Oh, here's a Kleenex. Let's see if we could cover it up. This will be easy for us to eat all kinds of vegetables. What are some foods that we eat that are the leaves of the plant? Hint, you have one every morning in your smoothies that your dad makes. Kale. Kale. We had beautiful in the garden, and I'm planting some more today for the fall garden. Kale. You think of any others? Spinach. Lettuce. Different kinds of kale. Gabby pointed out. Oh, I'm going to give her a little more food. She doesn't like kale. She does like meat, though. Here you go, sweetie pie. Where did I put this? Here it is. Right here. Here you go, sweetie pie. Oh, I dropped some. There you go. There you go, sweetie pie. Okay. Wash my hands. Come back to the book. This wonderful book that I'm reading with my little guy. Okay, so we were talking about leaves. Arugula, yeah. Leaves. Oh, well, collards, chard. I'm missing one big thing. What am I missing? Picturing my garden and all the greens. I had cabbage. Okay, roots. What are some roots we eat? Potatoes, carrots. Roots. Potatoes are actually called tubers, which are a little bit different, but for the moment. Beets. Carrots, I said. Would you call onion a root? What do they call onion? They don't list onion here. They put potatoes under the roots column. So they're not distinguishing tubers from roots. So we won't for the moment. Fruits. The fruit of a plant. Well, of course, it's all the fruits that we eat. The berries, apples, peaches, plums, pears. That's all fruit. But so are tomatoes and pumpkin. That's wherever there's a flower that gets, pollinated, fertilized, and then a fruit. The fruit of the plant grows with more seeds inside it. That's the fruit. So even if it's what we call vegetables, like zucchini, pumpkins, tomatoes, peppers, that's actually the fruit of the plant in the vegetable garden. Whoops, what's that? Excellent. Campaign going good and strong. How about stems? Now, first thought, you're thinking, I don't eat stems. Well, because you might be thinking of stems of tomato plant or stems of corn or stems of all sorts of things that we don't eat. But there are some stems that we eat. Asparagus, that's a stem. And if you wait in the vegetable garden and you don't pick it when it's that young stem or stalk out of the ground, it turns into fern with the leaves, and then there's little tiny flowers on it later. So we get it early in the cycle, whereas other things we eat late in the cycle, the ones we eat the fruit of, we're getting at the end of the cycle, the pumpkin or the tomato. But the stem is the beginning of the cycle. Celery, I forgot celery. I love celery. Oh, I love celery. And rhubarb. We only eat the stem of rhubarb because the leaves of rhubarb are poisonous. But we can eat the leaves of celery. Seeds. Can you think of any plants we eat the seeds? Exactly, peas. You love peas. Beans. Pomegranate. We eat the seeds. Well, in strawberries, we're eating the seeds because they're on it, and we don't take them off because they're tiny little seeds all around the edge. Corn. I forgot about corn. Well, that was good. Moving on. Oh my goodness, 15 minutes in. I better read this in 2 parts. Okay, this is part 1. I'll sign off for now. I love you, sweetie pie. More soon.